Alright, guys, today I want to talk to you about the Galilean wedding and how it fits in perfectly with, with Jesus' return. And if you look at the ancient Galilean wedding, what they did is, you know, they would meet at the front gate because there was a lot of witnesses there. And the groom would propose, like he had an actual contract. And, you know, the bride could either accept it or not. The groom's dad actually paid a large amount of money to the bride's father, and it was so in case anything happened to him that she would be taken care of. But I mean, it's just amazing. But so, and the way she accepted was there was, there's a cup of wine, and she could accept it by taking the cup and drinking and accept the contract, or she could push it away and not accept. She had the choice, you know, which wasn't always the case back then, but in the Galilean, wedding, she did have a choice. So, then, okay, if she accepted, they they didn't see each other for a year after that. He went to build a room unto his father's house, just like Jesus went to prepare a place for us. You know, I mean, it fits in perfectly. The whole thing fits in perfectly. But he went to do that, and her responsibility, the bride's responsibility, was to make her wedding dress, and to and it wasn't a simple task. She had to wait for certain traders to come along and get certain things from them. It was a process, and once she made her wedding dress, and the whole time the guy was off building this room, he was getting the supplies, building the room onto his father's house, and no one knew when the wedding was going to happen. No one knew the day or the hour. Okay? Only the Father knew, which is just like only God knows when Jesus is coming back to get us. All right. The When he's finished building on the room, the dad, the groom's father, he's the one that decides when it's finished. And when it's finished, in the middle of the night one night, he will tap him on the shoulder and be like, "It's time, go get your bride." And not only is he there, once the room's ready, his groomsmen are there with him, stuff and everything. They're waiting for the father to tell them when it's time. Just like Jesus is waiting at the door, excited to come get us. He's waiting for us, waiting for the moment. When God says it's time. But then the bride, once she has her dress ready and everything, and it's getting close to time, she knows she sleeps in her wedding dress every night. Her and her bridesmaids, they all sleep in their dresses, because they don't know when it's going to happen. Okay, so they have to be prepared. If they're not prepared, they don't get to go. They ain't going to make it, because once they make it to that banquet hall, or the wedding hall, whatever you want to call it, once they shut the doors, you're out. But which is the same as, like, when Jesus comes back. If we ain't raptured in the rapture, then we have to go through the tribulation. We're locked out until tribulation's over, and he comes back for the final time to, for the final judgments and the reign on earth. But so I mean, but it's just wild how this whole thing fits perfect. Okay, then, all right. So say, once the father says it's time, he wakes the son up. It's like it's time, and that's another thing. It always happened in the middle of the night, just like that. Just like Jesus said, he's gonna come like a thief in the night. It's the same thing. I mean, it's the same. It just is a perfect model of what's gonna happen in the rapture. Okay, then, all right. The father wakes the son up. He's like, it's time. Go get your bride. So him and the groomsmen get together. They get the horn out. They start blowing it, going through town, waking everyone up. The bride hears. She jumps up. She's excited. She's ready. She goes out to meet him. Her and all the bridesmaids go out to meet him in the street. And it's just a beautiful scene. And they go out there, and They meet, and here's what happens is, like, at that point they actually lift the bride into there. Once they meet in the street there, they have like this thing they carry the bride on, and they actually lift her into the air and carry her to the wedding hall or the banquet hall. And so just like we're going to be lifted and meet Jesus in the sky, it's the same thing. She get lifted. That right there shows you there's going to be a rapture. You know, she gets lifted in the air and carried to the banquet hall. And once everyone gets in that was ready, they close the doors, and it don't matter. Whoever's late, they don't get in. They don't make it. But it's just it's amazing. And that's a lot more to it than that. There's just so many things that fit in perfectly. I mean, it just fits in perfectly. The whole wedding is just like Jesus' return. I mean, if you look at the entire thing from beginning to end, it'll amaze you how many things in there relate. And if you want to, something that you can go in more detail on, there's actually a documentary on it, and it's a beautiful documentary. It's called Before the Wrath, and I suggest y'all get that and watch it. Everyone should watch that. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful documentary. They did it perfect. I can't remember who made it, but it's perfect. It really is. It's beautiful, and it'll go through every little thing and how every little thing that relates, and plus some stuff will click for yourself, on the way through. That maybe they don't even mention, but it's just a beautiful, and I think everyone should watch that because it's just it'll completely change your outlook on what happens, or on the return of Christ, because it just matches so perfectly. And Jesus, when he was talking to his disciples, Jesus was Galilean, all of them was Galilean. They understood exactly what he was talking about when he was talking about them being, his bride and things like that. And it just, they knew everything that he said. They knew perfectly. He related to them in things that they knew. He told them, parables and things in ways they could understand, and perfectly. And as far as Christ's return, the Galilean wedding is the perfect scenario for that. Today I'm gonna end it with that, guys. But yeah, I mean, y'all should watch that. It's a nice documentary, and I love you guys, and thanks for watching my videos. I hope you learned something from them. That's what I try to do. Just get information out there that some people might not know yet or hasn't heard. So yeah, but thanks for watching my videos. I love you, and may God bless all of you, and have a nice day.